Hello and welcome developers, my name is Shay and this is another episode of Shay Develops. Today we're going to be talking about inheritance. Inheritance is an object-oriented programming concept where we have a class that extends its features into another class so that that class can then use those features and you don't have to write the same code from class to class. You can just extend it and allow those features to be inherited into the new class. So we're going to use this and create a vehicle class and then a car class, so you can then see how these can be used and be beneficial whenever we're, like I said, writing code. So let's go ahead and get into writing code because I feel like that's the easiest way to learn this stuff. So we're going to create a new class, and this is going to be our super class. Oh, make a mistake there. It's going to be our super class, which is going to be the one that's passing on the inherited fields and methods that we're going to be creating. So let's go with the car analogy here. So a car is a vehicle, and there are multiple types of vehicles. So we're going to go ahead and start with our vehicle class. And let's make this just a little bigger. Alright, so our vehicle classes, we're going to create some fields, and this shouldn't be new to you. We've created this or talked about this in other videos. So each vehicle is going to have a name, and then it's going to have some type of size. So we can do a double, and we can pass it a height. And I'm not going to make too many of these, so hopefully though you guys will understand. We'll do a double, and actually I'm not going to make these capitals. We're just going to do lowercase. Double height, weight, and that's because I don't need the data type itself. I can just use the primitive data type because we don't need to make this. I said we just don't need that extra functionality. Alright, so we got private odds are double, height, and weight, and we could do width, which we could possibly move up, but we'll worry about that later. And let's do length. And then we can do private string engine type. Alright, and let's go ahead and clean up this just a little bit. I like to put make my stuff together as possible here. So this is just personal preference. You definitely don't have to type it like this. Alright, so now that we have our fields that we want to use, we can build our constructor, because we definitely need them. We know from our constructor video that if we don't create a constructor, it's going to create a blank one for us, and that's not what we are currently wanting here. So we'll do our constructor, and we'll pass it all the stuff right there that we're going to use to make it. Now later on we could come in here and we could add some methods in here, like a move method or such, and then we could then call those methods in our inherited class or in our child or subclass. So let's go ahead. Listen, now that we've created our vehicle class, let's create another class called car. Now car needs, like I said, to inherit the code from our vehicle class. And in order to do that, we're going to use the extends keyword. So it'd be extends vehicle. And now we're getting an error right here because what we have to do is we need to call the constructor to this method. But first, before we do that, we need to define what a car has that other vehicles may not have. So a car is going to have a name, Like I said, I know a vehicle also has a name, but see, the vehicle might be, a less specific version of the car. So we private string name. It could also have private int doors. How many doors does it have? And then private int wheels. How many wheels? And then we're going to leave it alone at that. I feel like a lot of the other stuff has already been covered with the vehicle, but we probably could add quite a bit more, like type of injection or some other stuff. I'm not super good with cars. But now we still have that error though up here. And let's actually make this a little bigger. So we still have this error up here. So what we'd want to do is create our constructor now. Now whenever we create our constructor, we see here that from our little code helper pop-up that we have, it's only got the name, the doors, and the wheels. And we can go ahead and do that. But whenever we create it, it has this super keyword here, and that super is allowing us to get stuff from the constructor from the extended class of vehicle. Because whenever we created our vehicle class, we got super, we got name, engine type, height, width, length, and weight. So that way, whenever we now create our car class, we're going to call all these different types, and we are going to pass it, like I said, the information needed to create the class that we're wanting to create. So let's go ahead and create a class with a vehicle and see how this is going to work. So at first we could, let's get rid of that right there. Let's go with vehicle, and we could make we'll just call it vehicle lowercase equals new vehicle. And now we have quite a bit of parameters to pass to it. So we could just say vehicle, engine type, we'll make it electric. The height is, and I have no idea, so I'm just going to pass some stuff to it. The width, we'll say it's 76. Let's see here, and now we need the length, about 145. And then I think that's it. Oh, we are missing, we don't need to create the constructor here. Oops. We are missing though, see here, we got height, width, length, weight. Missing the weight. We'll say it weighs 3,500 pounds. Alright, so now that we have this vehicle, we could output the vehicle. We're doing something like this, but it's only going to output the address to the data and not the actual data itself. If we wanted to output something meaningful, we would have to override the toString class, and we're going to do that now. We may do that later. I think I've done that in a previous video though. But let's go ahead and run this. As you might expect, it's going to work. And then boom, listen, like I said here, it's outputting vehicle at and then the address of where the data is being stored. So that's not actually, super sure. We created a vehicle that has an engine type of electric, but and height and weight and all that stuff, but that doesn't actually do a whole lot for us. So if we wanted to continue this, we could create also now a car class. Go to the car, we'll call it a Tesla, because it's electric, why not? Could be a Leaf or some other electric vehicle. Would be a new car. Now we have to give it a name now, so it'll be a string, it'll be Tesla, engine type electric, and then go ahead and pass it all of these parameters here. Oh, my mouse is going crazy here. Sorry about that. So we got height, width, length, weight, and now we're still missing some other things. Let's see here, I've forgotten what those things are. We got name, doors, and wheels. All right, let's go ahead and add those. So so the name would be, I cannot remember the name of a Tesla vehicle. We'll just call it the Roadster, right? And that will have 2 doors. And what's that last one? How many wheels? 4 wheels. I'm actually going to make this a little bigger. Here we go. And bring this back. All right. So now we've created a car class that extends the vehicle class that we added some stuff to. Now this obviously isn't perfect. It's just, like I said, showing you a kind of flawed but usable way to extend, like I said, another class and use inheritance. So we could actually even then now come into our vehicle class and call, let's do public void move. Don't need to pass it anything, but let's output saying that the vehicle dot move method was called. So we could then come in here into the main and be like car dot move. Oh, sorry. Tesla dot move. There we go. And then now whenever we run this, see, because we didn't add it to the car, our car class, we added it to our vehicle class, which is then extended into the car class. So the car class has access as long as this is public, or access modifier is public. So if I was to turn this into a private, our car class would no longer have access to it. See, and now we get an error. So let's go ahead and turn that back. But now that it's public and we're extending it, I can now call Tesla.move on the car class, or on the vehicle class within the car class, and you can see here the vehicle.move method was called. But say the 2 vehicles don't move the same and you don't want them to share that functionality, so what you could do is then override the move class within the vehicle class, or override the move method within the vehicle class and add that to our car class. And I know that may sound a little convoluted, but hopefully you guys can understand here in just a second. So I'm going to use my code generator, which is Alt Insert on PC. I think it's Command N on a Mac. I'm not 100% sure on that. But we can come down here to our override methods, which is Control O on a PC if you just want to go directly to it. Hit enter. And now we have a bunch of stuff here that we could override. So remember I was talking about our toString method that we could override. We could override that, and I'll show you an example of that so you can get some more information out, rather than just the address of the data where it's at. But for right now, we want to override the move method within our vehicle. So let's go ahead and do that. And now it's calling the super.move class, which means it's calling the move class within vehicle. So if we were to, let's say, come over here and run this again, we're still going to get the exact same output. the vehicle.move method was called. But if we change this, the car.move method was called, and we run this again, we're going to see how we override it, and then now we're calling the car.move method instead of the vehicle.move method. But we can go even further. If we call the move method within, like I said, our car, but we could also call it with from our vehicle as well. So we could still do super.move, and that would allow us to call actually both at the same time. So we can run it again. Boom, you can see that we've actually done that. You can see the car.move method was called, and so did the vehicle.move method. They were both called and allowed us to, move the vehicle. I use that in quotes because we don't have any actual type of movement. We're not giving it a speed or anything like that we could actually, if we wanted to, and then do something based off the speed and all that stuff, or like how the wheels turn from the axles or any of that. But we're not getting that in. No, we don't really need to get that in depth as far as whenever we're creating this. Like I said, some other though good examples might be you could have a computer class, and then you could pass that on to, say, a phone or a laptop or a desktop style computer, because they all share a lot of similar characteristics. Or create an animal class and do the same, because a lot of animals have legs and eyes and stuff like that, but some don't, even brains, like a jellyfish. So there's just, like I said, a couple of examples of how you might be able to use the inheritance, and I'm sure you can come up with a few of them on your own. And I believe, guys, that is all that I have to talk about as far as on inheritance and on the inheritance principle. Whenever you want to use the object-oriented programming approach, like I said, there's also a functional programming approach, and we may get into that in another video, but not right now. Hopefully, you guys were able to understand, and I explained it in a somewhat decent manner. But until next time, guys, I really appreciate your support. It has been amazing. Some of you guys who have came on here and told me that I'm making some good content. As I said, I just hope everybody's learning something, and you can take what I'm teaching you and build upon that to create even better applications while writing less code, more manageable code, and just better yourselves and your careers. All right, so until next time, I'll see you guys later. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what y'all are learning about in the comments, and I'll see what I can do to make another video on that. I've got some good ones in the making from some help from some of you guys, so stay tuned for those whenever we get into JavaFX, which is creating like a GUI rather than these command line apps that we've got that I've been creating so far. We're going to be going into JavaFX, which helps us create a GUI application. So that's coming soon. But for now, though, we have a couple more object-oriented programming videos coming up, and still a bit more as far as some fundamentals of Java and stuff that you guys need to be familiar with before we still move on. All right, so until next time, you guys are awesome. Peace.